Coming to paperback and e-readers in 2021, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks on a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business in 2021 at online booksellers everywhere.
Recently, Disney announced that it was going to sign director Ryan Coogler, the man who directed Black Panther in 2018, to a 5-year developmental deal. And it also announced that they were going to be doing a spin-off that was going to be created by Ryan Coogler based on 2018's smash hit Black Panther called Kingdom of Wakanda. And this Kingdom of Wakanda series was supposed to be a spin-off that further allows an opportunity to expand on building the world of Wakanda that was created in 2018's Black Panther and will be further expanded upon in 2022's Black Panther 2. Now, when I take a critical examination of this decision to give Ryan Coogler this developmental deal and create this new world Kingdom of Wakanda spinoff, I see a great opportunity to expand the image of black fantasy on screen. And I see a great opportunity to further build the world that Ryan Coogler established in 2018's Black Panther. And I see a great opportunity to further develop some of the characters we saw in the whole of Black Panther adaptation, like Shuri, like M'Baku, and like Okoye. All of these characters can now get further character development and further expansion of their lives, and we can get some further character development that shows us the politics that go on in Wakanda, and we can also get to learn a little bit more about the fictional culture of Wakanda. And I'm hoping that Disney gives Ryan Coogler a lot more creative control, and I'm hoping that Ryan Coogler uses that to form a vision that presents a balanced and positive image of Africans and African Americans as related to this black fantasy franchise. Because while I am happy to see him get this opportunity to give us a series that focuses on African American fantasy and these characters, I really have my reservations because the original Black Panther film had some issues that I believe Coogler needs to deal with. And the first he needs to deal with is the gynocentrism that was in the first Black Panther, because the film focused, as I see it, too heavily on the gynocentrism and the women of Wakanda. And I'd like to see a little bit more balance as related to the men of Wakanda and their presentation, because as I see it, we didn't get to see, sadly, enough T'Challa in the original Black Panther, and sadly, because Chadwick Boseman has passed away, we will not see any more of T'Challa. And with T'Challa's father gone, we're not really getting much male representation, and I want to see a lot more representation as related to the males in Wakanda. And we had a strong male in M'Baku, and I believe he needs to get character development to show us a strong masculine man in this series, because I believe that the world of Wakanda was too gynocentric from 2018's Black Panther, and we do need to see more men in this series. Now, I also have a reservation about this Black Panther spinoff, because one of the other issues I have is with the imagery of Wakanda, and I believe we need a complete redesign of some of that imagery, because when you have scenes where people are wearing grass skirts and spears in a technologically advanced civilization, that harkens back to old racist imagery, and that's not something that's constructive. Not to mention the guy with the plate lip. Now, I know that was part of Wakanda from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the two white men who created Black Panther. But if this is Ryan Coogler's vision, we need to start focusing on making things a bit more contemporary so that people can get a balanced picture of Africa and a balanced picture of Africans. Because as someone who has interacted with numerous people from Africa, I can tell you that they don't really like these types of images of representation. And when it comes down to Africa, it is a lot more advanced, and the people there, this is not a good positive image of them. So I really want to see images of Africa that are a bit more contemporary. Show us what we see in many of these countries where we're seeing skyscrapers being built, showing us a lot more as related to technology, and really give us again a contemporary civilization that gives us a balanced picture. And again, if Disney is giving Ryan Coogler this developmental deal, I want to see them give him the creative control in order to tell more balanced stories and really give us some balanced material. I really want to see a really solid black fantasy series here, because I believe that if you did a Kingdom of Wakanda series, it could be on the level of a Star Trek The Next Generation if it was executed properly. I mean, you could focus on the nobles in the court, you could focus on the politics, and you could focus on the diplomatic situation as related to Wakandan trade. There's a lot of good stories as related to the Kingdom of Wakanda that can be done well. And if you develop the stories properly, you can have a very compelling series. But if you don't really know how to execute properly, you can have a big jumbled mess of a series. And that can happen if the producers are focused on identity politics, like was presented in Roxane Gay's World of Wakanda series, which was focusing on this alphabet relationship between these two Dora Milaje guards. We really need a broad, wide-centered picture that gives us a real full picture of Wakanda. We need a series that focuses on developing really all of the characters of the different tribes and the different representations. We need a series that focuses on developing the Wakandan tech, and we need a series that really develops all of these elements, because you have all of the tools here to make a very compelling series, but it just needs somebody with the vision and the creativity and the whole idea of creating compelling stories to really lay that foundation for the viewers and give them that rich picture of the black experience in this Kingdom of Wakanda series, because you have an opportunity here to tell some really great stories. But the whole thing is, will Disney allow Ryan Coogler to have the creativity to do so? That's the critical question that I have to ask regarding this whole deal, because sometimes when it comes down to companies like Disney, yes, they will give you a deal for symbolic purposes to promote so-called diversity, but then they will go into promoting their agenda. And that's one of the concerns I have with this deal with Ryan Coogler, because yes, they'll give you a lot of money in the front as related to developing your series, but then on the back, they're going to want to try to control what type of stories you tell, what type of characters you write, and they're going to want to push certain narratives, and they're going to want to try to do, and when it comes down to black characters, they love trying to do this, and it's rare you get an opportunity to get a black comic series like we did with Luke Cage, and it's even rarer that a guy like Chio Hodari Coker can come in and tell a story where he represented black manhood, black masculinity in a positive fashion, and showed us a black man in a leadership position. And when it comes down to these studios, they really don't like those types of images and stories. And again, that's why I have reservations about this Kingdom of Wakanda, because while it's a great opportunity, it could be flipped on black people, because oftentimes Madison Avenue and Hollywood love to go out here and use a series like this to further agendas like promoting the misandry as related to black men and making it where they promote these emasculated ideas regarding black manhood. And that would be, again, a bad turn, because one of the reasons why I had issues with Black Panther was all the gynocentrism and putting the women at the forefront. Meanwhile, the men are pushed to the background. And that's something I have, again, reservations about, because this is something Disney has done in the past. And I'm happy for this opportunity, I want to see more balance as related to this story. I really want to see some representations of black manhood and black masculinity in this series, and I want to see more balanced representations of black manhood and black masculinity, like M'Baku was in Black Panther. And they tried to make it like he was the bad guy, like Killmonger, but we really needed more balanced masculine images in this series, and and that's why we're going to get a richer and broader picture of Wakanda. Now, this whole series could be a major hit for Disney, but it's all about how they execute on the concept, and it could further lead to the expansion of African American fantasy and science fiction like I produce on the SJS Direct imprint, and lead to more people expressing interest in fantasy like I produce on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series or the Eastern series, or books like The Temptation of John Haynes and The Eternal Night. And that would be a good thing as related to black fantasy. And that's another thing I would love to see Disney further expand upon, is trying to get the works of other black fantasy authors out there like myself, and getting more people to read black fantasy and black science fiction, and use this as a springboard towards giving us more diversity of thought in that genre. I would like to see them use this as the platform it should have been used for, because one of the other issues I have was Disney took $500 million from the black community and then didn't even think to try to elevate another author. Because yes, you gave Ryan Coogler a nice deal, but we need to further expand and get other black authors and black creators out there, so we can get a richer and diverse picture of black fantasy and the black experience within black fantasy, and give those authors and creators like myself their due for going out here and creating that fantasy. And this shouldn't just be about a cash grab for Disney Plus. It also needs to be about giving us more richer and diversified images, and using this as a springboard towards building the black fantasy genre and taking it to the next level. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to check out my action-packed African American fantasy fiction, like the ISIS series, the Eastern series, the John Haynes series, and many of my other books like the Thetas and the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers this April, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door must take on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess in paperback and e-readers this April.